Sudowoodo, Lord aka Megabutts. In today's video, we're going to be looking at one of my favorite decks to play. This has kind of been my pet deck, we'll call it, for the last couple months as I've been kind of refining the list and changing things to how I see fit. And actually came in third place at a League Cup with this deck, and it's on my radar to play for the regional in Pittsburgh. So let's look at the deck list. Already here at that deck list, Pidgeot Ex Control, Bird Control. Now, the way this deck works is we're going to play a bunch of different one-ofs, and I find all the cards I need with Pidgeot EX. Pidgeot EX, with its ability Quick Search, once during your turn, you may search your deck for a card, put it in your hand, and you can't use more than one Quick Search a turn. It also has attack Blustery Wind for 120 for double colorless energy. You may discard a Stadium play, which actually can be pretty helpful in a pinch, which is why I wanted to talk about it, because Team Rocket's Watchtower shuts off Pidgeot Control, so you can get rid of it with the Blustery Wind. You can also just play the Chen Pao that allows you to discard a Stadium if you're really worried about Watchtower, but not a lot of people are playing it at the moment. So if you do end up playing this any sort of events or anything, you won't have to worry about Watchtower too much. So we are playing a 2-1-2 line of Pidgeotto, and Pidgeot, and then a 1-1 Feebas Milotic line, the Milotic being the mentally calm abilitied one. Your opponent's Pokemon in play and all attached cards cannot be put into your opponent's hands, so it really helps out with Scoop Up Cyclone and Professor Turo Scenario when you're trying to trap something in the active spot with our Sudowoodo. Ethan Sudowoodo has the attack Impound for 20 damage for 1 fighting energy to your opponent's next turn. The defending Pokemon can't retreat. So they can't Penny, can't Turo, can't Scoop Up, and they are just stuck with whatever's in the active spot is in the active spot until they play a switch or something to that effect. We're also playing the Chi-Yu EX for the Jealousy Singe. Discard top 2 cards of your opponent's deck. Fezandipiti for Flip the Script because the card's literally broken. Latias for the Skyliner ability. Basic Pokemon in play have no retreat cost, which helps us out a lot, being able to get out of Fezandipiti, Chi-Yu, Bloodmoon Ursaluna, Cornerstone, Sudowoodo, and Tinglu, and things like that. We're playing Genesect for the Ace Nullifier ability. Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon Ex for the Cornerstone Stance, being able to prevent all damage done to those Pokemon by your opponent's Pokemon that have an ability. Budew for Itchy Pollen for item lock. Bloodmoon, so we can potentially penny loot the Bloodmoon to win the game. At some point in time, you can just attack for free, penny, pick it up, put it back down, rinse, repeat, until you take all 6 of your prize cards. And then we have Tinglu EX with the ability Cursed Land. As long as Pokemon is in the active spot, your opponent's Pokemon in play that have any damage counters on them have no ability except for Pokemon EX. And then Land Scoop for 3 fighting energy, 150 damage. Put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. This card's really helpful into Pikachu EX, but also it really helps your Marnie's Grimmsnarl matchup, being able to slow down the Frostlasses and Monkey Dory and stuff, which is really nice. Got 4 Arven, 3 Brock Scouting, 2 Boss, 2 Penny, 1 Airy, 1 Erica's Invitation, 1 Lonazade, 1 Giacomo, 1 Iona, 1 06 Machinations. And then for the items, we got 3 Palpad, 2 Rare Candy, 2 Ultra Ball, 2 Counter Catcher, 1 Buddy Buddy Poffin, 1 Nest Ball, 1 Redeemable Ticket, 1 Night Stretcher, 1 Tool Scrapper, 1 Accompanying Flute, and then 1 Precious Trolley for our ace spec of choice. You could also play something like Miracle Headset in this deck. It would fit just as well. Or Hero's Cape. I've seen that getting played quite a bit as well. But I really like Trolley because it helps you set up. If you don't play the Trolley build, you have to really rely on Nest Balls and Buddy Buddy Poffins to get set up. If you play the Trolley build, you can kind of open yourself up to being able to play a couple other additional tech cards, which can help you out in different matchups. Trolley, being able to search deck for any number of basic Pokemon and put them directly onto your bench, so you can get pretty much all of your basic Pokemon set right up with that Trolley. But if you don't play Trolley and you play like Miracle Headset or Hero's Cape, you're going to have to play like 3 Buddy Buddy Poffin and like 3 to 4 Ultra or Nest Balls, which is fine. For the tools, we have 3 Defiance Vest. If you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, the Pokemon cards attached to you takes 40 less damage. 1 Luxurious Cape as well, being able to give something that doesn't have a rule box plus 100 HP. Really helpful on like the Budew or the Sudowoodo. And then 1 Calamitous Wasteland for our Stadium. The retreat cost of each basic non-fighting type Pokemon in play costs 1 more. And then you have 2 Luminous Energy, 2 Fighting Energy, 1 Mist Energy, and then 1 Fire Energy. There's quite a bit in this deck, and I've really been enjoying it quite a bit. And like I said, I took 3rd at a cup, which was kind of insane. Let's get into the gameplay. Already here at the coin flip, our opponent is not going to be going first. We're going to be going first, which we don't really mind. We get to evolve very quickly. But going second allows us to go Arven and then find our way into Precious Trolley, being able to set up all of our Pokemon. Going first, we kind of need Trolley in our opening hand, which unfortunately for us, we don't end up getting. But we started with Pidgeot EX and the Active Spell. We can attach a Luminous Energy to it, so we can start with the Jealousy Singe kind of early on. I don't know why I'm messing with settings here. I think I was just checking to see if something was turned on, but either way, our opponent here going to TM Evolution into some Zoroarks, it looks like here, which is definitely not great for us. I think I was trying to turn on the battlefield effects during this game and just couldn't really figure it out, which was kind of frustrating. But evolution for our Pokemon, or our opponent here, gonna get 2 Zoroark EX ready to go, which is kind of unfortunate for us, like I said. But we're gonna have Arven here. Now we don't know if we prize Trolley, which we did not, so we got pretty lucky there. If we did prize Trolley, then we would have had to settle for Budew PRE, which would have not been great, and it would have been better to play something like Brock Scouting, probably. But we're going to go Trolley here, going to get ourselves the Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon Ex, Latias, double Pidgey, and we could also grab the Budew here. I think I ended up putting back one of the Pidgeys and just settling for this right here. And the reason I do is because I just throw up the Cornerstone and I attach the fighting energy to it because I'm like, you know what? I can start attacking you with Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon. I'm not going to do weakness to it, so I won't be able to just one-shot the Zoroark. However, I can two-shot the Zoroark EX, right? Being able to hit for 140 and then 140 again, being able to take 2 prizes, could be a way that I potentially could win this game, however, but that might prove to be a little bit difficult as they are playing Monkey Dory, so it can kind of mess up my math pretty badly. I don't know for our opponent here, putting us into a new hand. However, this hand is pretty solid. We have Arven in hand and Pidgeot EX, so we can just go Arven, Rare Candy, right into the Pidgeot EX, and we're going to be ready to go. Our opponent here going to Budew PRE, fail the Budew PRE, Turbo Energize attached to the Monkey Dory, but they got some trades they got to do. Discard Zorua, draw 2, get another Zoroark EX, trade, discard a card, draw 2, discard the Research, draw 2. Makes sense to discard the Research, actually. Trade one last time, discard a card, draw 2, discard Energy Switch to draw 2, and just like that, they got a nice fresh 6 cards in hand. Nest Ball for our opponent. Not really sure what they want to grab. Maybe a second Monkey Dory could be good. Could also try to start setting up your Reshiram, which is probably going to be the thing you're going to want to use in this matchup the most of the time. I don't think you're playing the Darmanitan package. It looks like they're playing the Zoroark deck from the World Championships, which is totally fine. The deck is really, really good. Arven for us here, however, going to grab that Rare Candy in our other Defiance Vest. So we're going to attach the Defiance Vest to the Pidgey, Rare Candy into Pidgeot, going to be able to attach the Mist Energy to that Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX, and then Quick Search here for us, and we're just going to set up for the next turn, it looks like. And it looks like I think we're just going to grab ourselves maybe an Energy. We could end up selling for just another Arven, and I think that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to grab Arven, so the next turn we can play the Arven, and then Quick Search, trying to find ourselves whatever piece we may need. And going from there. Like I said, these Monkey Dories are going to prove to be, I feel like, quite a bit of a problem, but not too big of a deal right now, so we'll have to kind of wait and see. Trade, discard for our opponent, discard Turbo Energize, discard Iono, so they've driven 4 cards this turn. Going to be able to put down that Ends Reshiram here, going to be able to trade, discard the Arven, draw 2. So now they've already burned through over half of their deck, and quite a bit of energy in play as well. They got 4 energies on benched Pokemon and then 1 on the active, so 5 energy total in play, which is quite a bit for our opponent here. However, we end up getting a fighting energy here for our top deck, so we could just start being a little bit of aggressive and starting attacking with our Ogerpon. So we're going to attach the Defiance Vest, attach the fighting energy to the Ogerpon, and then Quick Search here for us. Going to grab ourselves the Penny. Penny's going to pick up our Chi-Yu. I want to save it and that Luminous Energy just in case if it gets knocked out. We're going to take the knockout on the Monkey Dory here. Going to put us at a 5-6 split. So we have Stricken first. We have Stricken? Whatever. We've attacked first. We are first on the board. So 5-6 split with a Pidgeot control deck where we're ahead on prizes is not really ideal for us, actually. We kind of want to be behind on prizes because then our Defiance Vest is very active and counter catchers are online and things like that. but it just doesn't seem to be what this game has in store for us at the moment. Ends PP up, gonna get a Dark Energy to the Zoroark. Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX to the discard pile for some trades here. Counter Catcher is going to pull up our Latias EX probably to get a nice 2 free prize cards for our opponent. Because it is weak to Dark, which is definitely not great for us. Then I go Monkey Dory, attach a Dark Energy to the Monkey Dory, unfortunately, and then going to use Night Joker to pick one of their benched end Pokemon's attacks. So either Powerful Rage or I think it's Virtuous Flames. So Virtuous Flames, take the knockout. Now we're at a 5-4 split. So now we're behind on prize cards. So now our Defiance Vest is active. Everything's kind of set up and ready to go. We're going to go Counter Catcher and Luxurious Cape off the Arven. Retreat out of our Pidgeot into our Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon EX. And now I'm like, okay, I can boss his orders. I can try to maybe just do something and get rid of one of these Monkey Dories. But I'm actually going to go for the Ends Reshiram. And the reason I do that is because if they can't attack with their Zoroark because they don't have any Pokemon to pick from on their bench, then we're fine. So the plan is I have Accompanying Flute in my hand. I could try to Accompanying Flute next turn if they can't get another Ends Pokemon on the bench and fill the spot, and then just force our opponent to basically just kind of sit there and do nothing, or have Turo or Penny. And in the meantime, while they're trying to fish for that, I could try to set up my fish, which would be Feebas and Milotic. But they trade away the Fezandipiti, unfortunately for us, get another Ends Reshiram on the bench. Like I said, the play I had was kind of a little bit not great and required a lot, but I figured, you know what, it was worth a shot, so why not? Night Joker for our opponent here, 170 damage to our Pidgeot EX, unfortunately. But we are now in a situation where we can do a little bit more. So we're going to Boss Zorders, pull up the Ends Reshiram again. Going to Ultra Ball, pitch the Pidgey and a Brock Scouting to grab ourselves Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX. And we're not going to play it or anything, but we are going to quick search here, grabbing ourselves, I believe, an Iono, just to kind of send us some disruption if we need to. But we could also grab Counter Catcher, Calamitous Wasteland. There's a lot of good pieces. I actually grabbed Calamitous Wasteland as I could try to stall at some point in time later on. But I don't think I end up going for the attack here. And the reason I don't go for the attack is because if I can just trap the Ends Reshiram for like a turn or two, we're going to be fine. But they have Air Balloon because of course they do. And now we're going to be able to retreat out of the Ends Reshiram into their Zoroark, being able to hit for 170 onto our Ogerpon, which is not great for us, like I said. But they're actually going to go for Boss's Orders on the Pidgeot actually here. Going to be able to attach the Fighting Energy to the Ends Reshiram, retreat, because they need to attach at least one energy. So they kind of just had every piece they needed. Mike Joker for 170 damage, 340 total, taking out our Pidgeot EX. Now we have to play a control deck without our main thing. So we had to see if we can pull off this game here where we have no Pidgeot. We have to try to just utilize our resources as best as possible here. And we're going to go Brock Scouting, grabbing ourselves Feebas and Sudowoodo. And I go Demolish for 140, realizing that I probably shouldn't have, because now I've actually made a very vital mistake, because they have Dark Energies on their Monkey Dories. They can just start moving the energies back to our side of the board on our Ogerpon and eventually take the knockout on it over a period of time, which is not ideal at all for us, actually, especially if we're going to be moving, 6 counters total between all these Pokemon. They have a couple trades they can still do to try to find another Dark Energy to get on the other Monkey Dory to move 60 damage counters back to our side. But Night Joker, it's not going to work because of the fact that we have Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon in play, and Zoroark has the ability. So I end up demolishing again here, which is, like I said, not ideal, but I definitely want to get this Zoroark out of play now, which is hopefully the plan. If they don't retreat out of it or anything, we can kill it and take the knockout, take 2 prize cards, and then just kind of sit here and hopefully they deck themselves over a period of time as all their Pokemon have an ability and they can't really attack with anything else. But they're going to move more damage counters back to our side. So we're at 60 total on our Ogerpon, which is not great. They got some trades available on their Zoroarks as well. Going to be able to probably try to find another Dark Energy, get it on the Monkey Dory, move the damage counters over and stuff, which is not great, like I said. But not really too much more we can do at this point. We got to get that End Zoroark EX that has damage counters out of play. We got to get it gone. And that's kind of our only hope really at this point, I think. They're going to go Night Stretcher here. Off of that Arven, Night Stretcher is going to be able to grab a Dark Energy out of the discard pile if they have one, but they can just retreat if they can bump this Calamitous Wasteland. Right now, it's making it... Actually, no, it doesn't even do that because it's just basic Pokemon. So, 2 energies retreating out of the Zoroark actually would work perfectly fine right now, and then just retreat into the other end Zoroark. But they end up burning through the switch, which is fine. You know, probably just didn't want to have to waste the energy and just needed a backup attacker just in case. But they pass over to us, and now if we had Boss, it would be different. We could just boss up the Zoroark and go from there. However, we don't. So we got to come up with a different alternative plan here. And the plan is Palpad putting in Penny and Boss. And just probably passing the turn. But instead I demolished like an absolute goober. Saying, hey, if you don't move the damage counters off of this Zoroark, I'm going to knock out this one. So you figure it out. Kind of putting myself in the situation where I can take 4 prizes, potentially if I do this right. If they end up doing anything, I can just throw down Bloodmoon Ursaluna and then punch it. However, I don't want them to be able to hit me for anything, because right now, if I put down the Bloodmoon, they would be able to hit me for Powerful Rage and probably taking the knockout on Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX, which is not great. So Demolish for 140, putting it at 250. And our Cornerstone's got 90 damage counters on it. So we're playing a pretty dangerous game here. Our opponent also is playing a little bit of a dangerous game, because if they trade too many times, they could end up decking themselves, so they have to utilize everything kind of in a certain way. They need to make sure that they don't deck themselves too quickly and put myself in a situation where I can just go Chi-Yu, Fire Energy, win the game. Which we're actually approaching that pretty quickly, but they have a Presto Return scenario. Pick up the Zoroark, put another Zoroark in the active spot here, going to be able to... probably Night Stretcher, getting a Dark Energy, attaching it to a different Pokemon. But if they actually just Adrenaline Brain and keep moving damage counters, they're going to be just fine. So that's exactly what's going to happen here. Adrenaline Brain, move 30, Night Stretcher for a Dark Energy. Going to be able to attach it to either the Zoroark or the Monkey Dory. Monkey Dory makes the most sense. 30 damage, move it to my side. But now I really need to take a knockout on that Zoroark, because if not, A, I don't get the prize cards, and it basically just heals all the damage and puts it on my side. But I also will just lose the game. But we get Boss off the huge top deck right there. Going to be able to take the knockout on that Zoroark EX. Going to be able to take 2 prize cards. But now our Defiance Vest is not online anymore, unfortunately for us. So let's see if we learn from our mistakes and we don't end up putting ourselves in the situation where we punch into the Zoroark. I don't think we would make the same mistake twice, but we'll have to obviously wait and see what happens. And we also can't put on the Chi-Yu, because they can just kind of go, hey, I have... I take knockout, right? I can just punch and take knockout on the Chi-Yu, but I'm kind of like, do I bench it? Do I not bench it? I ultimately end up benching it, and I put the Luminous Energy on it, throw the Defiance Vest on it, which doesn't really do me much right now, unfortunately. But I retreat out of the Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon into the Chi-Yu, Jealousy Singe, Mill 2, and just say, all right, you only punch for 170. I can retreat, throw the Cornerstone Mask Ogerpon back into play if I have to, and kind of go that route. But our opponent's going to have Artisan here. And I'm hoping they just don't have enough energies, is kind of the hope, is that they don't have enough energy to actually be able to do anything. So I'm playing a pretty dangerous game with the Chi-Yu at this moment, but I also need to close out this game pretty quickly. I can't really Blood Moon them, because they can just kind of Adrenaline Brain, move the damage counters back, and KO the Ogerpon and win the game. So I can't bench the Blood Moon, because if I do that, then they end up being able to just win. So they go Secret Box, discard 3 cards. They have 3 cards in deck, so I'm thinking they're trying to figure out a way to maybe solve this game. They have Iono, so they could play the Iono and then kind of slow us down, put me into a bad 2-card hand. But our opponent just concedes that they don't really have a way out, it seems. They're kind of out of ways to maybe find energy or anything like that, or just don't have a way to take a knockout right now. My guess is they probably just ran out of any ways to get energy back. So a little bit of a sloppy game as far as Pidgeot control goes. Definitely not my best game with it. But like I said, I feel like the deck's really good, and I think it's pretty well positioned in the meta right now. I feel like you have a really cool things you can do in a lot of the top decks right now, which I think not a lot of decks have to offer. However, this deck isn't as good as it once was before rotation a while ago, but it's still a pretty solid deck. Let's get into the outro. Already going to draw for today's video. Make sure to put decks that I played in today's video in the description below, ready for copy paste into TCG Live. And of course, if you guys enjoy the content I've been making stuff on the channel, definitely make sure to leave a like, smash the subscribe button. I would appreciate it. It costs you nothing, and it means the world to me. We're getting real close to 1K subs, which is really exciting. That's kind of my goal for the end of the year, is to hit that 1K, the big 4 digits. So we can definitely get there. But I want to thank all of you guys for your continued support, and a huge special thanks to all my channel members that you guys see here. Thank you so much. I couldn't do it without you guys. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace!